I hate scams. Just, freaking A. Look, I usually try to make these videos really upbeat and positive, but lately, the amount of scams going around, the success story scams, the snake oil miracle cures.
We found a miracle cure.
The quick fix, buy my supplement, buy my oil, buy my brand. Ever since this whole long COVID thing blew up, so have the scams. And it's just really irking me.
Must be the war cry of her tribe.
Okay, look, tons of people are trying to take advantage of those of us with chronic illness, and that is so not cool. How low do you have to be to take advantage of those who are already sick and desperate and hardly have the financial means to take care of themselves as it is?
What is this, pick on the con artist day?
And unfortunately, many of us are desperate, and so we do fall for it.
Please, Commander, you are our last hope.
I know I frankly over the years have tried just about everything, and I can tell you, other than placebo effect, most of it doesn't work the tiniest iota. Sad but true, almost all of it is snake oil.
Deception, lies.
And yeah, some things people do have slight improvement, but guess what? It's either placebo effect or you get a ever so slight benefit because it slightly fills some deficit your body had.
And it only cost $5,000.
And then there are those, especially with chronic fatigue syndrome, there tends to be spontaneous recovery that, if it happens, will typically happen around 2 to 3 years after onset of symptoms. Well, if you'll notice, a lot of these, I was miraculously cured by XYZ, they only had it for about 2 years. This is a normal thing. They could have never taken that and that would have still happened.
Not a bad scam.
Or in some cases, like as in those supplements or meal replacements that help people, if you were eating a super bad diet or your body was super lacking in a nutrient and that supplement just happens to be healthier or have a little bit of that nutrient you need, guess what? You're gonna feel a little better.
Wait, scam?
Is it the miracle cure? No. Did you need only that supplement? No. You just happened to find something that just happened to have a little bit of what you needed.
Unsubstantiated fantasy! Lies! Lies! Lies!
All right, now does this mean that we shouldn't keep trying to find things that'll heal our bodies? While these things might not cure you, it is always good to keep looking.
I will search relentlessly.
But what gets me is the amount of scams out there make it so much harder to find the things that actually have potential to help us.
Whoever is doing this needs to stop.
There are things out there that can help you manage your illness to get it to go into remission in some cases if you catch it early enough. But all these scams are making you spend your money, waste your time, and it buries the real cures to make them almost impossible to find other than by word of mouth. And so it's causing people to not get better. And it just,
That's good. No, let it out. That's it. Let it out.
Okay, so you want to get better, but you don't know what is and isn't snake oil. So I'm sure you're asking, what should I do to try and recover from this? What are the steps I can take to find a path to recovery that will actually work? Well, let me help you with that. The first and foremost thing you need to start doing for your recovery is you need to compile a diary/list of your symptoms, and you need to research into them. So keeping the daily diary of symptoms and everything will help you in a couple ways. It'll help you remember what actually is happening. You'll might be able to piece together activities that cause it, foods that cause it, and then you'll have a list of things basically to start researching into to try and find the cause. You'll want to work with your doctor on this, not just leave it to the doctor alone. You work with your doctor. And potentially, if you're like me and eventually become disabled from it, as I have, then this diary will help you in the future for things like getting disability or bringing it to the doctors you're going to, the specialists, and giving them a head start of where you're at. The second thing you need to do is you need to find a doctor that will work with you in ruling out everything it could or couldn't be. You need to go and you just need to get a myriad of tests. It's gonna cost money. It's gonna be difficult.
It's gonna cost me money. That's what's wrong with it.
Ruling out what it isn't will help you find out what it is. And there are some things that literally there is no test for, that by ruling out everything else, that's how you figure out what it is, such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. There's a couple more I can't think of the names of right now, but all of these, there is no test that actually tests for them. It's mostly just ruling out everything else and then looking at symptoms. And here's the thing you probably don't want to hear.
But hear me and hear me well.
If there is no positive test for anything, if it is CFS, fibromyalgia, etc., there is no cure. It can go into remission sometimes, typically around 2 to 3 years, if it will at all. And it can be in remission for years, but it typically does come back eventually. It's never completely gone, so you do always kind of need to be aware of the energy you're using, what is causing your symptoms to happen, and what makes your symptoms worse. So the third thing you need to do is you actually do need to look into alternative therapies. But here's the thing, make sure you look into legitimate places. Even the weirdest remedies, if they've been out long enough, there should be at least a few studies showing what benefits they have scientifically. Acupuncture, chiropractic, acupressure massage, different types of herbal supplements, all of these have scientific studies on them that show how much they help and sometimes even show how much they help for specific diseases. Some studies are specifically for chronic fatigue syndrome. Some are specifically for fibromyalgia. If there are 0 studies on something and you're going on literally just the word of the company that's selling the supplement, you should probably run far away.
But lie?
You don't know it's a lie. What if it's true?
If there are studies, but the studies were funded by the company that is selling the product, guess what? It's probably not a good study.
It beats me how they always fall for it, though.
And I would especially stay away from the MLM distributors. Now, I know I'm gonna get a whole lot of hate for this, but I was one myself.
We were in the same pyramid scheme.
I sold for a makeup brand that I won't go into, but literally these brands will give their distributors propaganda to give you. They'll give you word for word what to type. This person that was miraculously cured could be completely fake.
What a scam!
Or it's that 1 in a million that just happened to spontaneously recover, attributed it to this, and they spread this one picture around to everybody, whereas a couple 100,000 did not get that benefit. You only see the one that did.
You cured me 5 times!
Stay away from these MLM products as far as I'm concerned. If you know someone personally, like you actually know that person that was helped by it, and they weren't doing anything else at the time that might have helped, okay, give it a try. But typically, these things cost a fortune. They will try and get you to sign up under them.
It only works if we're all in.
And it's just not worth your time, money, and getting your hopes up. And again, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. There are a lot of distributors out there, and they do believe in their products. But I'm also not gonna lie and say that this doesn't happen. Look, as our health gets worse and time goes on in our journey of chronic illness, we just tend to cling to any hope that presents itself. And the main problem is that tends to drain us of our time, energy, and money. And sometimes it can even harm our bodies if it is 100% the wrong thing that your body needs.
He took his chances on snake oil.
It does take time and experience to learn how to spot scammers, but these tips and this little roadmap I gave you guys should at least help keep you on the right track at first. Once you go through the basic things to find out what's going on, then you can start exploring other avenues of potential cures.
We'll continue our search, Kirkhound.
I hope this rant gave you a head start. Thanks for putting up with my opinion on scammers. And if you'd like to see a little more of my stuff, hopefully rant-free, try one of these videos here. Thanks for watching my TED Talk. Keep on surviving!